Okay, so I got 50 cases ready, which has been deburred and has been primed. And next I'm gonna use case lube kit so I could resize the cases. Now I'm not gonna use a trimmer because I doubt seriously I'm gonna ever trim my cases because I have so many empty breast cases. I doubt I'm gonna recycle them more than 3 times. So just on 7mm magnetic metal, I probably have about 800 cases that was never reloaded. So I'm not gonna worry about resizing it. I mean, trimming it, but I will resize it in my press. So before I put it into to resize the case, I have to lube it, make sure it doesn't get stuck in my press and become a big headache for me. In the box, it came with a lube pad and a lubricant and a neck brush for a small caliber and a bigger caliber. Okay, from my observation, this is the depriming pin out of my press. And this part right here, the part that goes through the neck right here, is what reshapes the neck. So if you have a dented neck, this is gonna make it reshape it so that you'll have a nice and round neck. So luckily, none of my brass had any dented neck, but I decided to do it the other way just in case I have dented neck. Is that before I prime my case, I want to resize my case with the priming pin in the press, so this will actually go through and it won't push out my new prime. So what I decided to do is that we're gonna lube the case first. You just need 2 drops. This is very thick lube, so just put a 2 drop there, and then spread it upwards like so, and then put 5 cases here. So 2 drops for every 5 cases. That's how I've been doing it now. So as I told you, for me this is error and trial. This is my first time, and I'm just kind of getting hang of it as I do it. So after you lube it, and I seen it on YouTube, they'll say you don't really need to lube the neck, which is not true. The part that was trying to get stuck in the press was not the case, but it was actually the resizing the neck part where it was kind of getting really stuck, because that actually has to narrow down the whole neck. So I like to lube the neck with my hands. And I decided not to use the brush and brush on the pad because it's scratching up the pad, and I didn't like this. So, I mean, your hands already has a lot of grease on it, so just run it through like this. And there should be more than enough grease for the inside the neck. Now, once you do that, just in case I have some metal brass shavings inside the case, which I'm afraid when you fire, it might come out and put markings inside the barrel. So I like to tap them like this a couple of times, and trust me, you see a little bit of stuff coming out, and then just run the brush, tap it, run the brush, tap it, run the brush. And tapping it without the prime just makes me feel better. Like I said, I'm getting a little nervous here. So anyway, tap it and then run the brush. So, and then put it back in the cases. So I have 50 more brasses that's been already resized but has not been primed yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime it with the priming tool, and then I'm gonna continue my project. Now, this brass, as I mentioned, does not have prime in it. So if I put it in here, and if I put it back up like this, and that's where I'm resizing my case and the neck, and press it down all the way till you hear a click. Now, another thing that I noticed was that this really takes more torque than I anticipated. So I'm gonna put like a lag for that part, so that this could actually won't be so wobbly. So I'll show you that once I get it down. Now you pull it back out. Now the part that's trying to get stuck is right here. That's where they're trying to resize the neck. And you kind of got to force it downward. And then the neck has been narrow and is perfectly round. So as I mentioned, the ones that I did it before was already, none of the neck had a dent in it. So didn't have any problem with the shape. But from now on, I'm gonna resize the case first and then prime my cases. As I mentioned, this press has more torque than I expected, so I actually added another nice, really hefty piece of bolt here and at the bottom. So now this has no problem. It's not getting wobbly at all. So I think this is gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna be using a Magnum gunpowder from Ram Shop. And it seems like this one has a good review. Now this is actually a ball gunpowder, not a stick gunpowder, and this seems to dispense a lot quicker. So setting it with Honori auto dispenser, it tends to overcharge every time. So I'm just gonna show you how to do it, how I do it. So I have it set at 73 grain. And as soon as my scale goes back to 0, it's gonna start dispensing it automatically. And people are kind of complaining about with this unit where if it overcharges, it just shows overcharge and there is no way to control. But actually I found a good way. It says overcharge right now because you charge 73.9 grain. So you push the inner button till you hear a beep. Come on. And it shows its actual weight right now. It's actually 73.8 grains. Now right here you could push the trigger and then it's gonna slowly dispense and it's going up to 74. Okay, here we go. 74.7. A little bit more. 74.9. I'm gonna do just a little bit more. Come on. One more real quick. Okay, now it's 75.1. I'm okay with that. So take this off and then empty it into my breast case. And as soon as you put everything back on, when it goes back to 0, it's gonna start dispensing it again. Here we go. And I don't know if you could see it or not. I hope you could see it. I don't know if you could see it or not, but problem that I ran into with the ball powder, and this is the only powder that I ever used actually, is that you see the little ball powder stuck on the neck of the breast kit. So I'm just gonna use the Q-tip to push everything down. As for the bullet, I went with Barnes tip TSX. It's 150 grain. And the reason I went with this bullet is that it's got a very similar ballistic with 160 grain burger bullet. So, and also the cool thing about, now this is actual Barnes ammunition that I bought. And the reason that I bought this is that it's got a little groove here, if you could see that. And I'm gonna match the same length with this bullet, so I know it's good. And if you look at it very carefully, I don't know if you can see it, but at the very end, you could see the little ridge here. So that ridge is actually this ridge right here, this last ridge right here. So I'm thinking, as long as I match the same length with the actual ammunition they sell, I really shouldn't have any problem having a similar performance. So, well, let's see. Can I set the bullet? I have I'm still in the process of adjusting the length. Go slow. going. I think I have the length right. I'm gonna double check. Okay, it's going just a little bit deeper. Let's try that. I think we have it just right. Let's compare the height. Hey, it looks good to me. Final product, I made 14 ammunition. Don't ask me why 14. That's what I had in my dispenser, and I didn't feel like refilling it. I was actually at first I was actually aiming to make only about 10 just to test it out tomorrow, but I had more powders left, so I went with 14. Now I am a little afraid to shoot this thing because I'm afraid it might damage my gun or damage me. I don't know. But one of my viewers told me that don't be afraid because they're actually rated to be 3 times, rated to handle 3 times higher pressure. So I should be okay. And I hope he's right. But the maximum charge with this powder should be, it was at 76 grain. Now I did 75 because I was hoping to get about 3,000 feet per second. And I know I should try different charge, but being my very first time, I didn't feel like messing with it. I just went with 75 grain all the way. And as I'm testing my other rifle out for the long range, I'm gonna just test this out with a different rifle, and hopefully it will go bang without any problem. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have. Enjoy your life with what you got, but mostly be safe and reload some ammunition. See you.